Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're retaking a deep dive into one of the most pivotal and devastating conflicts in human history, the First World War. It's often called the Great War, or the War to End All Wars, but how did it all begin? Let's rewind the clock. Picture Europe in the early 20th century. It was a complex web of empires, rivalries, and alliances. On one side, you had the Triple Entente, which included France, Russia, and Great Britain. On the other, the Triple Alliance made up of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. Tensions were simmering, fueled by nationalism, imperial ambitions, and a massive arms race. The continent was a powder keg, just waiting for a spark. That spark came on June 28, 1914, in the city of Sarajevo. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist named Gavrilo Princip. This act of political violence set off a chain reaction that no one could stop. Austria-Hungary, furious, issued a harsh ultimatum to Serbia. When Serbia couldn't meet all the demands, Austria-Hungary declared war. This triggered the alliance system. Russia, seeing itself as the protector of the Slavic peoples like the Serbs, began to mobilize its massive army. Germany, allied with Austria-Hungary, saw Russia's mobilization as a direct threat and declared war on Russia. Then, Germany declared war on France, Russia's ally, and launched an invasion through neutral Belgium to bypass French defenses. This violation of Belgian neutrality brought Great Britain into the conflict, and suddenly the great powers of Europe were locked in a catastrophic war. What was supposed to be a quick, decisive conflict devolved into a brutal stalemate. On the Western Front, from the North Sea to the Swiss border, both sides dug in. They created a vast network of trenches, separated by a desolate, dangerous wasteland known as No Man's Land. For 4 long years, millions of soldiers lived in horrific conditions, facing machine guns, artillery, poison gas, and the constant threat of death. Battles like the Somme and Verdun resulted in hundreds of thousands of casualties for just a few miles of gained territory. It was a new, industrialized form of warfare, and it was horrifying. The war wasn't just fought in Europe. It was a truly global conflict, with fighting in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. As empires drew upon their colonies for soldiers and resources, the tide began to turn in 1917. The United States, initially neutral, entered the war, bringing fresh troops and immense industrial power to the Allied cause. At the same time, Russia, torn apart by revolution, withdrew from the conflict. Finally, after more than 4 years of unimaginable bloodshed, an armistice was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, 1918. The war was over. It had claimed the lives of over 16 million people, soldiers and civilians alike, and left entire empires in ruins. The Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, German, and Russian empires all collapsed. The aftermath of World War I reshaped the world map and set the stage for the 20th century. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to bring a lasting peace, instead sowed the seeds of future conflict, leading directly to the rise of new ideologies and, tragically, a Second World War just 2 decades later. The Great War was a profound trauma for humanity, forever changing warfare, politics, and society. Thanks so much for watching. It's a heavy topic, but understanding our past is crucial. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments what historical event you'd like to see covered next. Stay curious, and see you in the next one.